Oi to the oi and welcome back to PickItUpGaming. Hope you're all doing well and you're masters of the apocalypse and slayers of the zombie menaces all across the world. It's time for another video, and this week I'll be reviewing the game Dying Light 2. Now, does it rise above all the other creatures' nastiness as it lurks in the darkness? Or does it just shamble across the town, bumping from wall to wall until it eventually falls in the ditch and stays there because it's a zombie and it can't get up? Well, let's find out together, you beautiful bunch of humans, so let's get going. So Dying Light 2 is a survival horror game released this year, which is 2022, and it's a sequel to Dying Light, which came back way in 2015. I feel old, and I know it's a bit obvious, but just so you know, it's a sequel to the first game. It was developed and published by Techland and was released to pretty much every single console and PC, so you know, Xbox One, PS5, PS4, etc, etc. Maybe one day it'll come to the Switch, but who knows. Now, Dying Light 2 was delayed a bunch of times, so I might explain why it's such a long time between games, and hopefully, you know, it was delayed for good reasons. So let's find out together and discuss this beautiful zombie-filled game, shall we? So after the events of the first Dying Light, with Iran being somewhat destroyed and the virus being cured, you know, quote unquote, is it really cured? Everything should be fine, right? Well, not quite. Now, companies being greedy and being typical companies try to cure the virus, but also, oh God, you know what? Let's see what we can do to make money, and so weaponise it, and of course try to sell it onto the rest of the world, which, as you know from watching any other zombie game or playing a zombie film, never goes well, does it? And of course, it affects the whole entire world, which leaves the whole of humanity decimated. And you play as Aiden, looking for his sister and seeking some revenge on some nasty people, or a nasty person in this case, going for the city of Villador, which supposedly is the last city on Earth which, you know, is standing thanks to the zombie virus. And you go through the city meeting different humans, different characters, some interesting, some not. Also come across different factions throughout the city. Now for me, I preferred the first Dying Light, because there was less humans involved. This one should be more focused on humans, which plays more into the RPG side of the game. For me personally, less zombies, more zombies and less humans. But anyway, that's basically the story. Basically, simple story, not much to it. You'll play as a character, going through, meet different characters, looking for someone after events. So nothing really deep there, but it serves a purpose. Much like the first game, parkour and climbing and running and jumping is the most entertaining part of the game. You get to experience the whole massive world, climb up buildings, run across rooftops, and I think in this one they add a bit more verticality to it, and I would add a few extra features to help you get around, which makes it a bit more interesting. And like I said, that's the best part of these games, is doing the parkour, because when it comes to the combat itself, it's sensible. It's not fantastic, it's not really deep. It's fun, don't get me wrong, running up to zombies and dropping them off roofs, but in terms of, you know, it's not deep in combat. It does the job, which is all you can ask for in these kind of games, and it's most of the time it's fun crafting weapons, adding different things to it, you get the gist. But you know, really what you came from this game is parkour. But unlike the first game, you have an affected, which means you have a countdown during the night and dark areas, which if you hit 0 it means you dies. Now personally, to me, that sucks. I liked the first game and going into different areas, different dark places, different little hidey holes, having tons of volatiles, zombies in there, made it scary, made it challenging, but having this countdown just kind of sucks the fun out of going through the nighttime bits. You have to constantly watch it to make sure you're not going to get hit 0. It's not a feature that I welcome. Obviously, as you level your character up, you can change that and make it last a bit longer, but still, I'd rather not have it at all, if I was being honest. And like with most RPGs, you have a crafting system, a leveling system, where obviously you level your character up, different abilities, including parkour and combat, as well as like obviously attachments to weapons, finding collectibles throughout the city. So you know, your usual kind of RPG, which you can add stuff to it, add a bit more to the gameplay and the depth, but also can make it feel a bit bloated at times, if I may be honest. As far as control goes, it's a bit clunky at times with climbing and running, but other than that it's fairly responsive and enjoyable. I know it takes time to get used to some of the different commands and tools that you might use throughout the game. It doesn't really overall affect the enjoyment, so I can't complain to there. Sound wise it's alright, nothing great, but for the most part it's serviceable. What stands out to me is the voice acting, and it is, for the most part, apart from a few clunky bits here and there, really fun, really enjoyable, and kind of gets you a bit immersed. Also, Rosario Dawson is amazing in what she does, so that's always a plus. In terms of how it looks visual-wise, it's great. It looks fantastic. It's dark, it's gloomy in places. The zombies look great. The surrounding areas look fun, and even like some of the buildings are colourful, enjoyable, and it has a bit of character as well. So can't complain there. That's all be groovy. So here's my final thoughts on Dying Light 2. Now I have to give a lot of credit to Techland. They seem to be listening to fans, making improvements and DLC, and improving the overall game experience. I largely enjoyed my time with Dying Light 2. However, it is a very long game if you do everything from terms of the trophies to the side quests to collect everything to find all the weapons. And for someone you don't have a lot of time, that can be a bit too much, especially with the map being as huge and big as it is. It's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but it can be also very overwhelming if you want to play other games, and it's just a lot to deal with at once. So a bit bloated, like most RPGs, which can either be a good thing or a bad thing depending on your preference. But by that being said, I did enjoy my time quite a lot with the game. It's not as good as First Dying Light, but still, if you had the chance, I would say go out and pick it up. Maybe it's a bit cheaper, or when it comes to Game Pass or the PlayStation Plus system service. But yeah, definitely give it a chance. I think overall it's about a 7 out of 10. If you went through the nighttime feature, it'd probably be an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the First Dying Light, so this is not disappointing, but also not improving. But hopefully next time around they get it right. So anyway, guys and girls, find a safe zone, pick your weapons wisely, and hope to see you after the zombie apocalypse. Bye guys, bye.